All right. Hello, everyone. Recently, I got 17th at Evo France out of 256 competitors with Yasuo and Illaoi, and I was one of 3 players playing that team, the other 2 being Yasha and Hikari. And I actually got asked by Cool Guy on Twitter, or rather informed, that if I made a guide about the synergies between these 2 teams, that he'd watch it. So I figured I'd make a little guide on how you play Yasuo and Illaoi and what synergies they have. So let's jump into that today. I'm going to try and do this all in like one live take because I'm not going to spend too much time trying to edit footage together. And we're namely just going to be focusing on the synergies today. Patch 1.0.1.2, something like that, dropped today where they fixed Yasuo's JS2 scaling not being applied properly. So now everyone's scrambling to rework Yasuo routes to go back to older routes that are actually more optimal than the new stuff that abused the bug in previous versions of the game. And so my combos are all over the place with Yasuo. And there's also like still an existing bug as of this version 2 with regards to Yasuo's JS2 where the recovery is longer than it should be. So this is supposed to be -7 on block, but it's -18 on block. And I think it has to do with the recovery of the move, and that definitely affects how soon you can get out of this move and go into stance to then extend combos in like late hit stun or high hit stun scale situations. But without that, let's just get into Yasuo and Illaoi. If you're playing this team, I think you're playing with 2 X assists usually. You could go for double down, but double down is sort of weird because like if you're going for Yasuo's special 2 super that launches him up, you have to end it earlier to get damaged or to allow Illaoi to link into it, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. But generally speaking, like you're just namely using 2x assists because you want like neutral like this, you know. Illaoi's assists are really good with 2x stuff, and so are Yasuo assists actually, because all of a sudden you get like a full screen lariat. You just get extra threats with these assists, you know. And of course the fact that the assists, if you do call them, combo into themselves, you know. You know, you can do things like this. To secure some hits is really, really good. Then that's the short reason why you're namely picking 2x assist most of the time. But a lot of the synergies actually don't require 2x assist. So if you want to mess around with other fuses, you know, if you're playing sidekick, for example, you can definitely do some things with it. Or if you're playing double down, there's definitely some 1 assist call uses that you can just pretty much rely on. And the first thing, we're going to talk about this from Yasuo's perspective. His neutral is largely based around poking with special 1, which is a little worse in this patch because it doesn't have as high of an anti-air hitbox anymore, and the recovery is longer, like 49 frames. So it's important that, you know, you have something to cover it. And while Illaoi's S2 assist doesn't really cover like that air dead angle for Yasuo, maybe like Warwick 2 assist would do that. What it does do is it allows Yasuo to convert from pokes. If you hit this thing solo at ranges like this, you don't really get any sort of follow-ups here. You know, that stance heavy did not combo. But if you use Illaoi's back assist, it does combo pretty easily. And you're going to use her back assist instead of her forward assist because it's not going to combo, as you can see here. At all ranges. So you want to use her back assist to convert off of your S1 pokes because it's pretty much any range where S1 connects, so will Illaoi's back assist. And once you do that, the opponent is grounded. And because Yasuo has a very strong OTG, you're then able to pick up combos like this. And even if you fail the combo attempt like I did there, like, you know, you're still pretty plus on the opponent's wake up. So, you know, in a worst case scenario, you're still in a really good spot. But ideally, right, if you get the full hit, which is trickier now thanks to the increased recovery on S1. So it's not quite like you can get this at max range, but you get close enough. And you can convert this into some pretty decent damage. I mean, you know, with an assist, we did 432 damage off of a special starter. And there's probably more optimal things you can do as well, but we're not going to focus on the combos. I'm just going to do combos that I'm comfortable with and I know work. So this is like sort of one reason why you see this particular pairing for Yasuo and Illaoi. It is a little worse in this patch, just thanks to Yasuo's S1 nerf. Where, you know, before I probably had enough time to run up from like these far ranges to get this scoop. But again, you know, at the very least, I'm guaranteed Oki off of my poke. And in the best case scenario, if you can execute, Colin. Jesus. Wow, even at close range, I don't have to get as close as I think I have to. Right? You can do a lot of things and pick up some combo and get some extra damage off of it, which is pretty good. And in fact, let me double check something here. Okay, yeah, no, assist is on cooldown. So it's not like you get another assist call at the end of this combo or anything because the opponent's in hits done. I just had to check that. So that's, one reason why you sort of play use Illaoi to sort of just make these pokes a lot more deadly. And if you whiff too, like you just make the opponent respect it, and then you can make them respect the Illaoi assist follow-up as well. Now, if you only hit with this Illaoi assist, there's really not much you can do. Like, I mean, you could call it again for like another bit of OTG damage, but no, that's sort of a waste of your cooldown. So don't mind with that one. Just take the Oki off of like that hit and run up and get the hit. If you do use the Lariat assist with Illaoi, it's very simple to tag into Illaoi. On one hit, react it, get your confirm, right? And then you just continue the combo from there with her. Yasuo can also run up and convert this solo. And there's a couple of, ways you can sort of structure your combo routing. Sort of find what's most comfortable for you, but ideally you kind of want to take advantage of the fact that Yasuo can control where the opponent goes to bring him back to the tentacle that spawns on this forward assistant. Let's see if I can create the example here. Oop, not quite. Actually, I think if I do heavy there. Just as a very rudimentary example of like, oh, if you do get the straight hit with the Lariat assist, Yasuo can basically force his combo routing to bring the enemy back to that tentacle to then get even more extensions off of it. Some other characters, right, like they don't have like as many side switches as Yasuo does in his routing. So that's another like little thing. It's not really a feature I take too much example or have really used in my matches. Because generally, if I hit with Illaoi assist, I just be very simple. Tag into Illaoi, do a combo, get the corner, and start with the Oki, right? Which is another reason why you see these two paired together as well. Yasuo's combo routing gives him so much control of where he takes the opponent. It's pretty easy for him to get the opponent into like a corner position to then extend with stuff. Now, because of how S2 or Air S2 currently is for Yasuo with its recovery and stuff, if you're doing very long combos, it's actually pretty tricky to get follow-ups with Illaoi. But if you do like get a scramble hit, it's very easy to use Illaoi to like extend your combos. So we're gonna try set up an example here. Oops, love that execution. And let's go ahead and make a save state here, right? So like because we're able to put the opponent into the corner pretty much whenever we want to, it opens us up to then get really good extensions here. Because when you hit with Illaoi's assist in the corner, you want to get the second hit of the tentacle to proc, which is pretty much guaranteed in the corner. Maybe it's possible in mid-screen stuff, but in my labbing, it can be very inconsistent. And you need it so that you can actually link into further extensions. So you come down, you call Illaoi assist first. Like you enter stance, call Illaoi assist, and then you press light. So then you get all these hits, and then Yasuo can just come through here. Now you are able to link off of this hit, but I think because of like the recovery on S2, I used to, before the move got bugged, be able to fit in like a second stance heavy here to get a limit strike finisher. Oops. I'm even trying to enter stance here, but it's just I'm inputting it too soon and I'm still in recovery. I'm not able to get that extension anymore for a limit strike with Yasuo, which kind of sucks. And I'm hoping that whenever they do fix that bug with Yasuo, maybe I'm able to do those kind of finishers again. But what you can do instead, thanks to the system changes to assist cooldown, like as soon as Illaoi disappears, the assist goes on cooldown, and that means you can actually tag launch into Illaoi. So then the end of your combo looks something like this. Oops. If you do it too soon, like, you'll get the tentacle procs hitbox instead of your, or hit state. So you want to delay, wait, and then do this. So then you get the tag launcher. And then you can tag into Illaoi, and then you're doing Illaoi corner pressure games off of her S2 Surbu. So that's sort of like the idea. There's a lot of moments where you can easily set up tags into Illaoi in order to bring her in to then run her Oki game. Because the whole plan with this team is get the hit, extend into the corner, swap into Illaoi, run her Super 2 Oki. That's sort of like the idea with the team overall. And there's a lot of synergies too. Like, you just get extra combo extensions. The fact that like Yasuo basically gets like 2 extensions for 1 forward assist call is super nice in his long combos. And while it is like a little worse right now, just because, again, I don't get a second stance heavy in high hit stun scaling combos just because of, I think, the S2 recovery bug right now. I think that's the reason. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's now going to be a feature. But Riot mentioned that was a bug. They didn't fix it in today's patch where they fixed the JS2 hit stun scaling bug. We'll see what happens in the future with it. But that's like a very nice reason. And not to mention too, it's very easy for Yasuo to just, even without an assist, route into launchers that give you tag, right? You can do something very simple like that to tag into Illaoi. And, you know, we did pretty good amount of damage right there, right? It's not like anywhere near close to Yasuo's optimals and whatnot. But in a pinch, if you don't have an assist call, it's very easy for Yasuo to get opportunities to do a tag launcher, to then bring in Illaoi, to then run her corner Oki game. Yasuo is kind of like a delivery system to put the opponent into the corner for then Illaoi to run her Oki, is sort of like the idea with this team. And that's from like Yasuo's perspective. Talking about it from Illaoi's perspective, a couple synergies that you have here is that, so Illaoi has like her full screen poke with her charge down S2, right? But because it's not a projectile that she actively puts out on screen, if the opponent, for example, which I need to quickly fix my control settings so I can actually record something. We're gonna do like, record playback. Right, so like, if we come like here with Jinx, and she does, forgive me, I don't quite know her specials. There we go, right? Right, so if we pull up with Jinx and we're doing her back S2 specials, right? And she's just trying to zone us, like this. You know, we might trade, we might like be unsafe or whatever, but that's where Windwall comes in, right? Like, Windwall lets Illaoi play a full screen game where she can freely just poke out with these things. Now, it's not going to cover the jump angle or anything like that. Whoops, that was funny. Right, you know, but calling Yasuo assist to absorb a blow. We can even try and tag into Yasuo to convert some of these hits. Right, like get him close enough to where he's able to combo off of this hit from full screen. You know, with things like this, is another very strong synergy point. Like, Yasuo, like, lets Illaoi play a full screen game, and you can get confirms off of it, or you can just use it as, like, a shield of sorts. So that is fairly nice. And then, of course, with Yasuo assist, we're going to make the dummy block. Right, we'll just keep it simple by doing block always, right? You can create some sandwich situations where you're able to run offense pretty easily with Illaoi, thanks to Yasuo's assist, right? Right, so you can easily tag into Yasuo, but the more prime things to do is sort of like do this S1, you know, get your plus frames, you know, get in, get some plus frames here. And then you want to start by doing the charged heavy shenanigans with Illaoi. Excuse me, I gotta set this up correctly. Right? So, if you didn't know, let's make Jinx crouch, right? If you didn't know, if you do a fully charged heavy attack, you see that it pushes the opponent back, but you also see that it forces a standing state on the dummy. So a very simple example, right? Now, Yasuo has his JS2 mix, where he's able to hit you overhead. However, it doesn't work on crouching opponents. It works only on standing opponents. But, you know, where you find people using this is things like this, where they go for like a jump, and then they do the second overhead to catch your fuzzy block where you go into crouch. But if you use your tagged character, right, you force them to stand block because of that charged heavy. And then, you know, once you release it, I'm not fully integrated with this tech. You could basically create a high-low mix-up. And this isn't, you know, specific to Illaoi by any means. You know, any assist in the game or any character in the game that uses, you know, Yasuo is going to give them access to this mix-up. That's sort of like your core game plan with, like, Illaoi for your mix-up. You know, you're going to do your block string, summon a tentacle, get your plus frames, and then you're going to try and get a charged heavy out to force standing to then put the opponent into a high-low mix-up with Yasuo. And just because of, like, the fact that, you know, Illaoi has such great range on her attacks and she's able to force more plus frames with, like, tentacles and stuff like that, it makes it pretty easy for you to set things like that up. Right, like that situation, we're able to use our special one, frame trap the opponent, have the tentacle frame trap them, run up, and then, right, and then you just, you can go low, you can go high, you could even do a stance, mix-up, cross-up, anything like that, to really just keep the enemy under lockdown and duress. As far as then, like, Illaoi goes, there's also a couple other things that you can sort of use her tentacle extensions for. Let's restore that save state that we had, right? Say you want to do, like, a multiple DHCs with Yasuo. Going back to combos, I am backtracking a little bit here. You know, let's give us, like, 2 meter here. You could use Tentacle 1, get extension into Super 1, and then you can go into Super 2. All off of, like, one assist call. So it just gives you some more flexible DHC options for Yasuo. But even Illaoi has some DHC, or not even DHC, just some tag synergy like this. So if we put the opponent into the corner, and we take them off guard, you know, and we do, like, an Illaoi combo, right? Something very bare bone, very minimal. You can set up wind wall extensions. And we're gonna create a save state here, where I want to restore it now. You know, we tag into Yasuo, we get this extension as soon as the wind wall's ready, to then proc it with S2. You have to do it early enough so that Yasuo recovers. And then you can get even more follow-ups here, right? Like, now, I think you could probably get that stance heavy to work if they bug fix that S2 recovery. But in case you don't, things you can do with it would look like this, as it is currently. Oh. You can even just tag back into Illaoi. The combo you get is a little limited. Right, but you can just add on that much extra damage and still get, like, your corner Oki going with Illaoi. So you're just building more meter. You're doing a little bit of extra damage to the opponent. You're always cycling into Illaoi. Like Yasuo is always bringing the opponent into the corner. Illaoi is buffing Yasuo's neutral. Yasuo is like buffing Illaoi's neutral. And things are like really quite good with the team, and they both really set each other up for a lot of like mix-up opportunities and whatnot. Not to mention too that if you're doing like some very basic things, you know, like let's make the dummy block, right? We're making crouch, block, and then they're always blocking low, right? So they're gonna get hit by this overhead. Generally speaking, like you don't really get a combo off this overhead. But if you call the Yasuo assist at the right moment, then you get like the launcher here. So then, even Illaoi could combo off of this. Right? So she could combo off of it. But if you instead call the Yasuo assist first, and you then go into Illaoi, because of Yasuo's OTG, you're still able to combo. And you get access to the tentacle as well to even further extend your combo whenever you choose to use it. So a lot of these weird stray hits that these characters can get, they both allow them to convert it into more, right? Whether it's Yasuo's S1, in neutral, Illaoi lets you confirm off of that. Whether it's Illaoi's overhead mix-up, Yasuo is able to give confirms off of that. So long as you can even just instantly call Yasuo like this, tag to him, to then get combo routing. And this isn't optimal demonstrations here. It's just proof of concept stuff. But that's one of the reasons sort of why you see these characters get paired together. Now, I know Hikari is currently playing Echo, and that might be just due to the Yasuo nerfs, where, maybe playing what is arguably the best character in the game is just better from a competitive standpoint, since I think Yasuo is probably like in top 5 as opposed to top 2 currently. Not to mention, too, that some of the synergy I'm trying to point out currently isn't as good as it was because of, like, I think the air recovery on JS2. Being bugged and being worse than what it is, kind of preventing you from getting some combos potentially. A lot of the extensions I showed or try to show worked previously before JS2 got bugged. So I'm curious to see what happens once they do fix it, if they decide to fix it, or maybe this is just a feature of him now. But the annoying thing where he's looking the wrong way definitely needs to be fixed and whatnot. So even without that bit of synergy, there's still a lot going on for this team, and it's still a very good team to play, and I'd highly recommend you check it out. It's also a nice pairing because while Yasuo is a very technical character, Illaoi is very simple, very straightforward to play. There's a lot you can do with her, a lot of technical things you can do with her, but it's pretty easy to just plug her in and play. So, if you're a tryhard still with Yasuo, and you just need an easy secondary character to play, Illaoi is a very good choice. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the guide, cool guy.